But CJ McCollum has a new home in New Orleans. Let's hope he does not consume too many beignets like his teammate. And I'm
They're
so
good.
torn.
They're good. What can you do? They're really good.
Yeah, let me tell you, I am so torn on the New Orleans situation. I thought last year they should have been so much better than they were. All the Zion. I'm putting him in the Luca category of really good basketball player, really good counting stats. I'm just not convinced that they play winning basketball, especially in the playoffs, which Zion hasn't seen, nor has he seen, neither has he seen the play. He hasn't seen the play in either. Like, come on, man. We can't really just give Zion all this credit, and he hasn't won shit. And if you want to tell me that last year New Orleans had a worse roster than Memphis, you're crazy. Shout out to Ja for finally getting his credit for being who he's been since he came into the league. I'm so happy for him. But now we got Brandon Ingram, an All Star. We have CJ McCollum, who is that notch below All Star. Last year probably would have been an All Star if he didn't get hurt with the way he was playing. And Zion, if he ever comes back, Greg Oden, fat Greg Oden, maybe. Uh, Josh, where do you see New Orleans going in the future?
So I'm absolutely with you. I think that this team should be a lot better than it is. They have cost me a lot of money on some parlays that YOLO'd, and I think that it just doesn't really make any sense. Brandon Ingram has all the talent in the world. Zion has all of the ability in the world, but he's got the same type of physical condition that Oprah has, like causing fluctuations in his weight, and so it's just, I want so much more for the Pelicans, but I think that they got to figure something out. They need to blow something up, and they let Lonzo go, and he's been better in Chicago ultimately. I think that I've liked him there, and so what is the problem? What is the piece that they're missing? They've had every different iteration of point guard. They keep choosing the same type. New Orleans has got to figure out how to take care of talent. I'm still reminded of the Boogie situation and how that played out, and how his career has just been in a downward spiral, and I think that something's got to give there, and I don't know exactly what it is. And maybe you wait for Brandon Ingram's trade value to be as high as it can be, and you get him out of there for the best pieces that you can, and you rebuild. But Zion's got to be a leader and step up for this team. They essentially have been tanking to get as close to anything as they could to you, and now you're hardly available. And when you play, you're really efficient, and you're like LeBron and Tim Duncan blended together. But if you're not on the court, availability, it needs to be your best ability at this point, and I think he's not doing that. So
It's weird because he was awesome. Like he was really freaking awesome. Like I mean, what is he? 20 years old and he scored 27 points a game at like 60% from the field. Like that's more than young Barkley. That's like young Barkley with like jetpack on him. But it's one of those things where like if he was healthy, I'd have all these like trade ideas for you. Be like, oh, move him for Valanciunas for Miles Turner because then he can space the floor and protect the rim and all these things. But he's not. Is he even with the team? He hasn't been to the facility. This would just be a lot more fun if he was playing because CJ Ingram, who's been playing really well since they started out, I think like 1-12. I think they've been a 500 team, so they've been pretty good. And he's been pretty good. But and those three together, that's a fun team. That's at least an 8 seed. That's a team that you don't just trample every night. But you haven't even heard any news on him for a while. It was he came back, he was overweight. Obviously, all those pictures of him in the sweatsuit came out, and it didn't look great. And then he leaves, and you haven't heard anything about him since. And from someone in Philly, it rarely works out. Like Embiid took 2 years off with a foot and a knee and a back injury, and by the grace of God or whoever you believe in, he came back. But that never happens. Like big guys who are overweight, if Zion is even under 300 pounds at this point, that's a miracle. Foot and lower body injuries, that's bad. That's really bad, and it's disappointing too, just because he gets paid a lot of money just to be in shape, and you just want the best for that kid. He's so amazing that you just want him on the court. But I mean, I haven't heard anything about him. I haven't heard anything.
Who would have thought that he would have been like Greg Oden 2.0? You know, like I didn't anticipate that. I mean, just the physicality that he played with. It was, I mean, watching Zion in college felt like Bo Jackson, you know, and like when he steps out of the shoe or like splits his shoe in half when he's when Obama's at the game on that huge late night game, and I just, that was one of those moments that you always remember. And I think that it's weird to watch his career not become what we thought it could be or should be to this point, especially playing with the efficiency that he's had. You know, I feel like he needs to figure out who like Zebo, Zach Randolph's personal trainer, was, and just like get that guy, because Zebo figured it out towards the latter end of his career and was healthy for about 6 seasons straight. And so I feel like that's who he needs to bring in, like somebody that knows how to work with that type of body type and just get him right.
It's weird too because he played 61 out of 72 games last year. He was relatively healthy, so it's just the offseason thing out of nowhere because he played last year. He was available.
Yeah, you know, I'm just overall concerned about his health. I've gone back and forth with some people, and like, hey, big guys who explode too much, the impact wears on you. At some point, besides Zebo's personal trainer, he needs to get with Zebo's skill trainer to learn that below the rim, big body game that Zebo had, to where it was hard to guard Zebo, but Zebo didn't dunk, you know. But we'll see. Some of us are optimistic about Zion. I'm less, but thoughts and prayers, and maybe he'll finally be that big fish that the Knicks land.